Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, how are you? This is Damaris Maria Grossman, and I'm talking today about the use of a DEXA scan, and I am in part two of the DEXA fit scan. So I went to get my body checked with the DEXA dual and energy X-ray to admit for body composition and my results therein. So first, let's talk that when I first was doing any sort of body composition, I was in the 190 range and had significant amounts of inflammation, illness, and issues. And through nutrition, GLP-1 medications, and functional medicine, I was able to come down to a nice healthy weight. And I'm very happy with my results. I'm not skinny fat, but the body composition information will get you so much and availability, and it will really kind of let you know what's out there and what's going on. So for me, I'm going to share my screen and you're going to be able to see what that was for me. And it's quite interesting because I'm not skinny fat, and I've done very well now. But what it did mean was I had to make a lot of changes, which I'm very grateful for. But it did take some time. And now let's share you the results. So my results are from the scan. I actually got an A. And I was lucky. I really thought I was more on the lower end, but I have lost a significant amount of weight. It went from 190 to now to 124. 124 pounds. But the real kicker is not the number of that. And the main thing that I want you to know is that I am in total mass in a safe zone, maybe 124. My body has quality amounts of fat versus lean muscle. So I'm in that safe zone. Body fat, I'm in the low end to the best, meaning that I'm only about 25% of my body in body fat. I actually used to be in like the 45% range. So this has gone down significantly. My lean mass is around 87 pounds. I'd like to bring that up just slightly more. My visceral fat is significantly lower. I think I was more in that 1 range, about 0.5. And my visceral fat is kind of the fat that's surrounding the belly. And then my T-score is significantly high here, 2.7. I was an athlete, and I am Spanish and African American, and there has been shown signs of that descent has a higher T-score. So even though I'm in my 40s, the T-scores are higher for this. I think that the research, or there should be more studies on this, but I believe that our T-scores are a little bit higher in our bone density. But I was kind of grateful, though, through everything that I've been through, that my T-score had been quite significant. And that means this T-score is kind of gives you an idea of what your bone density is. And the higher it is, the better you are. Now, when I look at the distribution of my body fat, I only have about 32 pounds, 25% of body fat total. Lean mass is around 70%, which is great. I want to have more lean mass over fat. And I have to tell you, this was the opposite before. I had more fat versus lean mass. And through time, so like I said, between medication if needed, nutrition, exercise, lifestyle management, you can get these to be managed to a better place. And then you can see here that I have body fat changes on the left and right arm, and the right and left side, and how that is differentiated. And it really kind of also lets you know behavioral wise, like I have more body fat on one side versus the other. And am I more dominant on one side versus the other? And why is that? Have I been lifting something more than the other? Things of that nature. So if I have more muscle on the left side, have I been lifting more than on the right? And then when you look at my scales here, the only thing here that I would say could be better is that my appendicular lean mass could be a little higher. So that means that I really could get in a little bit more muscle, because what this means is when you're healthy, it provides essential insight of the muscular health, injury prevention, and overall quality of life. So what this is saying is that it could be a little bit higher so they don't have any bone injuries or long-term risk. And this fat-free mass index is about average for me. It takes into account the total lean mass and it's dividing it by the fat mass. And it's saying that it's useful to assessing your overall body composition. So I could be a little bit more, I could be more in the green range. So this means that I could have a little less fat and more muscle. And this means I need a little bit more muscle, which I'm kind of aware of. The best part of this is I knew I was more of a pear shape, meaning I'm more on the bottom, heavy on the bottom than the top. So that's where I'm more in the gyno versus android. And the visceral fat is in my best. So I'm done so significantly better. When I was, I would say a year and a half ago, I was in the closer to the 2.5 range. And then my mineral count T-score is at a 2.7. So that right there is really, really significant, and very helpful for my long-term bone growth and for my density of as an elderly patient. That's super important. And then when you look at kind of like my bone age, I'm around 39. So a few years younger than my normal baseline age. And for me, I'm pretty happy with those results. So that's just kind of where I come from. The reason I talk about this, or I'm having this conversation in the podcast, is because, and on this YouTube channel, is that I want my clients that come to see me to get a DEXA scan, and then if maybe they can get the 3D body scan or the VO2 and the basal metabolic rate, if that's possible, but at least at a minimum, the scan, so that we have an idea of where they lie, and then kind of getting a repeat in about 6 months to a year for that individual. And it really gives us whole body picture, and then getting a scan probably every 2 years. And it's quite affordable because this was only around $150. So I think that it's definitely doable, and it's a nice diagnostic tool, but it's not just diagnostic tool. It really gives you awareness. So what it is since it's the gold standard, it will give you a better idea of where you lie and what you really need to work on. And then, you can go from there. So that for me is, pretty paramount. And for those clients that I work with, they will get a discounted code, and it's mindful. So I'll put that in the show notes and the link to DEXA Fit for those in the North Jersey area, and then DEXA Fit online. So if you have a good rest of your day, and I hope to make sure that you guys have a mindful way each and every day. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful rest of your morning or afternoon. Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not the substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.